Anyway, today's plan is we're going to be doing the Dark Souls 1 tier list, boss tier list. Last time we did Demon Souls, um, but now we're back. It's Dark Souls 1 time. So, you know the deal. Let's get right into it. We're going to be going in order of like when you first encounter the boss, um, or as close to that order as we can go. So, let's just get started. Dark Souls 1. When you first start playing Dark Souls 1, you go into the tutorial and you fight the Asylum Demon. This is the tutorial fight. The Asylum Demon, I think, is a great tutorial fight, but not a very good boss fight, if that makes sense. I think I'm going to give it like C tier. Because mechanically speaking, he is pretty basic, you know? And if you don't know, they like use this sort of model as a boss over and over again throughout not just Dark Souls 1, but throughout their games in general. Like in Elden Ring, did you know that the avatar tree avatar spirit thing is like a remodel of the Asylum Demon? Fun fact. So, I'm going to give Asylum Demon C tier. The actual fight itself is pretty basic. You can either it teaches you like to how to like solve a boss, you know what I'm saying? It's like a good tutorial. It's a good starter fight because it teaches you that, you can, try to solve a boss. You don't have to just fight it straight on. You can go around and jump on its head or other ways. There's always an alternative for a boss fight, right? And you can either, jump on its head, do the plunging attack, kill him, or you can throw a bunch of bombs at him and kill him pretty quickly that way as well. So, it's a pretty basic boss, pretty easy. When it comes to the actual fight, like the Vanguard Demon, yeah, he's like the Vanguard Demon. Um, like they're both um good tutorial bosses, but not great actual bosses, you know? Um, but when it comes to the actual fight, he has like three moves, swing his hammer. Um, I think he has a stomp, and then I think he jumps up and down. Like, it's pretty simple, you know? It's pretty simple fighting the Asylum Demon. Nothing too special. His arena is pretty bland. Um, what else? Arena's bland, I don't really know about the soundtrack. The lore behind the demons for Dark Souls 1 is that, they they were like involved in this war that was like many years ago and they're a result of like a false flame or something, but I mean, it's whatever. Honestly, yeah, there's nothing too much to write home about the Asylum Demon. Let's move on. So we got the Taurus Demon next, and this one's also a gimmick fight, sort of, because it's the same sort of gimmick with the Asylum Demon, where is it if you like try if you find the route that's intended, you climb up that ladder, you can jump on the Taurus Demon's head, and you can do a bunch of damage. So it's really the same concept as the Asylum Demon. I think the Taurus Demon looks a little cooler. He looks like a bull, which is cool. Taurus, Toro, but honestly, I'd probably give Taurus Demon a C tier as well because, like, thinking about it, it's like it's basically the same concept as the Asylum Demon. I mean, they've already taught you this like plunging attack mechanic through the Asylum Demon boss fight, and then they just reuse it for the Taurus Demon. He looks cooler, but fighting him on the bridge is annoying because he could like push you off. Um, he has like the same sort of lore as the Asylum Demon. All of the demons in this game have the same lore, where they were, a result of like a false sort of kindled flame. Um, Honestly, there's not really much to say about this guy either. He has a really simple move set. Um, he looks cooler than the Asylum Demon though. I think he's a little better than the Asylum Demon, but not enough better to put him in B tier. So he's going C tier. He's going to the top of C tier. So the next boss that you would naturally encounter is probably the Capra Demon, and boy, oh boy, I do not like the fucking Capra Demon. Oh my goodness, I do not like this thing. Um, First of all, let's talk about my personal experience during stream fighting this thing. I didn't know that there was like a stairwell to the right, like right before the boss door. I thought it was just a straight line there. Like it looks kind of hidden almost. Like it's very easily missable, but that's my fault. All right. If I didn't miss that, then I would know that there's like a little shortcut leading back up to the uh I think Firelink Shrine bonfire, or maybe a closer bonfire or whatever. And I probably would have had a better time with it, but not knowing that shortcut was there, I had to run through that little lower village area every time I wanted to fight the Capra Demon, and that just angered me more. The boss run back, that specific boss run back, is so annoying. It's crazy. And then when I killed the Capra Demon, all of the enemies were just waiting outside the boss arena, and they came in and killed me. It was so annoying. But that's besides the point. Capra Demon, let's just start with his arena. His arena is dog shit. You walk in this confined space. It's so unorganized. There's like a random stairwell, and two dogs immediately attack you. So first of all, he has ads. He has ads. Immediately, I don't think there's a single good boss fight with ads. Or at least I don't think there's a single like S tier boss fight that has ads. Or even A tier in any of the games. Okay? Let alone Capra Demon. So Capra Demon, he has ads. He has two dogs, and dogs are so fucking annoying in Dark Souls 1. Um, he attacks you, and all the dogs attack you at the same time. So it's annoying as fuck. Um, the actual like himself as an actual fight, he's super basic. He has like three moves. He has like the two like swords, and he has like three moves. Swear to God, he has the same amount of moves as the Asylum Demon and Taurus Demon. Like clearly, not a lot of thought was put into these demons and their move sets. Um, very, very annoying. And combine that with the boss run back, like literally every time you walk into the arena, you get jumped. It's crazy. Um, it's the same lore, like bro. It's just the same thing. It's like the same thing as these demons, but way more annoying. He does look cool. I will say he does look cool. The dogs are the real boss. Capra Demon is emotional support. Capra Demon is harder on your camera than your HP bar. Yeah, cause I'm saying like the arena, the boss arena is so fucking like small that it's hard to see what's going on and where to go. Um, it's like, oh my god, it's so annoying. It is so annoying. So I really want to put him in F. I can't think of like a single redeeming quality about him other than like he kind of looks cool with the skull on his head. I might just put him in F tier. That might be complete bias, but dude, he sucks. He sucks. Oh my god, he sucks. Not good. And the worst part about it, or not the worst part, but a really annoying part about all of the demons in this game is that they're copy and pasted later in the game. It's supposed to be a thing like, oh, look how strong you've become. These things used to be boss fights back in the day, but now you're so strong, you get to fight like multiple of them and just run through them and you're fine. But that's it's fine to do that like once or twice, but dude, when you get to the like hell part of the world where everything's lava and shit, like they are just copy and pasted everywhere. It's not even fun. It's just lazy. And you fight the Asylum Demon like two more times, just different like variants of him. It's weird and annoying. Um, and you fight like 10 Capra Demons like randomly, and then 10 Taurus Demons. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Mad annoying. So Just don't worry about that. So the next, I would say, the next natural fight you'd go into, I'd say, is the Bell Gargoyles. Um, I think honestly, um, this is so the Bell Gargoyles is a duo fight, and it is definitely one of the best duo fights that From Software has ever pulled off. And this was back in the day when they knew how to make a duo fight. I'm not talking Elden Ring. All right, Elden Ring's duo fights are horrible, horrible. Every single one of them, I think, are probably F tier. But back in the day, they knew how to do a proper duo fight. So Bell Gargoyles, um, they were properly done. They first of all, they look cool. Oh my god. First of all, they look cool. They have like axes on their tails, and then one breathes fire, and another one like comes at you. Like one is more passive, um, than the first one. Like you walk into the arena, and the first guy is like really aggressive. He's using like an axe or a hammer or something, and he's trying to attack you. He turns around, does a tail swipe. He does a flying move. You know, he's pretty cool. And then when you get him down to like halfway health, then his friend comes along and he's a little less aggressive. He's more passive, but he's constantly breathing fire at you. So you have to like, keep him in your peripherals so you know when he's about to breathe fire. You know what I'm saying? They complement each other very well. It's not like two of the exact same enemy with the exact same moves and like mindset of just like super aggressive attacking. They um are crafted so they complement each other's playstyle. So it's not just straight bullshit for the player. It teaches the player to like micromanage and to like, have multiple things on your plate. So, it helps the player um have more fun when the bosses have good dynamics between each other. The you fight the guy on a fucking church rooftop, which is pretty cool. Um, although I mean, some deaths can be pretty tough when you fall off of it, but it's a pretty wide surface area. It's not that crazy. It's not like it's not like you're fighting the fucking man eaters in Demon Souls on a fucking thin ass bridge. It's not like that at all. The Bell Gargoyles I think are great. Um, I don't think they're like super spectacular or anything. They don't really have like a cutscene or a lot of lore behind them that makes them more epic. Um, it's just their fight mechanically is amazing. Like they just have a really solid, well thought out fight. So I don't think I'm gonna give it S tier because I think there are better boss fights that are more spectacular, more epic, and have just as good, if not better, fights than the Bell Gargoyles. But the Bell Gargoyles deserve A tier. Okay, I'll say it. They fixed the man eaters. Basically, that's basically what this fight is. They made the man eaters really good and enjoyable. All right, they widened the arena you fight them on, and they gave them different move sets and cooler looks. Okay, so Bell Gargoyles, A tier. So after this, you have a few different areas you can go to. You can either go like down where Andre the Giant is, and you would go into like the foresty green area, or you can go into the depths because you got the key from the Capra Demon. Um, so I think I'm gonna do the depths, and then I'll do the forest part. So when you go into the depths, you go into all those sewer areas, and then you finally get to the Gaping Dragon fight. And I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the coolest looking boss in the game. Let me think though. Artorias is pretty cool looking. Uh, obviously, Calamite is a dragon, so he's cool. Quelaag's pretty cool looking too. He's one of the coolest looking bosses in this game. All right, he's the Gaping Dragon. He just has a bunch of fucking teeth on his underside, and he walks around and then he fucking slams his torso. Like he's like such a cool, weird, grotesque thing, and it makes sense why he's like living in the depths, in like the sewers and shit. He's disgusting, and he fights dirty, but the fight is cool looking. I will say though, um, I do have a problem in these games with bigger bosses, It's because they're pretty easy to exploit. If you get behind a certain part of their leg, then they only have like one or two different moves that are easy to dodge. You just hit them over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that's not an exception with the gaping dragon. He's pretty easy to exploit. If you move in a certain way, if you get to a certain part of his body, it's pretty easy to kill him. But that's the case with most bigger bosses in the FromSoft games. It's kind of hard to not um have that be that way, especially in the early days when they were first making these bosses. So it's not like it's just sorry about that. This boss is good. It's not great. I would probably put him B tier. He's definitely more entertaining and fun to fight than the Taurus Demon and Asylum Demon. The things that are holding him back is that he's easy to exploit and his hitboxes. Um, there's a lot of attacks where his like entire body is a hitbox for some reason, and it's really annoying to fight that sometimes. But he has cool like atmosphere, really cool fucking design, and I think he's just more entertaining than the demons. So I'm gonna put him in B tier. Never got past the gargoyles, so I got nothing on the rest of these bosses. I'm telling you, you gotta get back into Dark Souls 1, bro. I'm telling you. You never got past the gargoyles? Dude, there's so much more to Dark Souls 1 that you missed out on. I'm telling you. Alright, so after the Gaping Dragon, you probably either go into Blighttown or you go into the forest. I'm gonna do the forest part next. And you fight the Great Grey Wolf Sith. Sniff. The Great Oh my god. Sif, okay? Just call him Sif. Sif. This is a great fight. This is a really good fight. And this is that fight. It's just a step above the Gaping Dragon in terms of the actual fight. But what elevates this boss as well is, first of all, the arena, the moonlit graveyard that you fight him in. Very atmospheric, super cool. The soundtrack, it's like this, like really somber, I think violin and piano. It's so just like it fits the mood and the lore super well, and it adds on to that atmosphere. And the lore behind Sif is crazy. It's crazy. Sif, it turns out, used to be Artorias's like loyal companion. And when Artorias went off to go fight the Abyss, um like he got like corrupted by the Abyss and everything, and he lost his mind. So Sif, um I forgot if it was Sif that killed him or if it was Sif that was like he couldn't like he had to stay by his side. Either way, Sif is laying by a tombstone in the graveyard, and that's supposed to be Artorias's tombstone. So even in death, Sif is loyal to his owner, and it's so sad. And he even wields his owner's like sword, like in his mouth. That's what he uses it. That's what he uses to fight you. It's so fucking cool. And there's actually a cool little like interaction with him. If you go into the DLC before fighting Sif, kill Artorias, and then come back, I think you have to wear Artorias' armor or something, or like have his sword out. Then Sif sees that and he's like hesitant to fight you. It's like super cool. And then what's even crazier is as you fight Sif, the more you do damage to him, the weaker he is, and it's like putting down a sad dog or like a sick dog. And he is a dog, but it's so sad because right at the end of his fight, he has like no health. He starts like limping, and all of his attacks are super slow. He starts whimpering, and it's like the saddest shit ever. You're just putting down a dog that was, waiting by his owner's grave. Like it's like one of the saddest fights, and they don't say a fucking word. It's not a word of storytelling. It's all through visuals. It's all through visuals. It's so fucking well done. Damn. The more I talk about this fight, the more I might think this is S tier. Like Sif is a great fight, and he's difficult. Um, like there really isn't a negative about him. I really can't think about a negative about Sif. He's definitely better than the gargoyles. You're not fighting a monster, you're fighting a guardian who stayed loyal too long. Exactly. You got stuck on the big dog? Yeah, I would get stuck on him too. It's like such a sad fight. I I don't know if he like the thing is he's better than the gargoyles. He's definitely better than the gargoyles. I think I might want to give him like low S tier. This is an amazing fight. Like just the I think the it's what the story is behind it. It's the lore, the atmosphere that brings it above to S tier, I think. The actual fight itself, it's pretty simple. You know, it's a dog fight, no pun intended, but it's really cool because the dog has a sword. He fucking swipes it at you using his mouth, and then he does like backflips and shit. It's like pretty cool. Um, damn, what a great fight. And I do think it's better than the Bell Gargoyles. So, moving on. What would be next? Um, this is Calamite, Bat of Chaos, Ceaseless Distart. Yeah, no, none of these yet. No. Quelaag could be next. Mm. Oh, Moonlight Butterfly. Yeah. This is probably a F tier boss. This is found in the same area as Sif, and it's such a weird fight. If you have a ranged attack, like any good ranged attack, you're taking this boss down in like 30 seconds. But if you're a melee only character like I was, this boss takes like 5 minutes. And all it does is it like flies around and it looks at you for like a little bit and then it shoots out fucking cum particles and it hurts. Um um but then he'll like eventually he'll land to like rest or something and that's when you're supposed to attack him. He does that a few times and then he dies. He flops over and dies. Um there's really nothing to say. It looks kind of cool. The Moonlight Butterfly, it's like I don't know. The arena is trash because it's just a thin little bridge. And you're just waiting there until he lands so you can get a hit off on him. So really, this is not a good fight. I'll say it, dude. This is not a good fight. It's not nearly as annoying as Capra Demon, so I'm putting it above Capra Demon. But there's really not much to this fight. I'm sorry. Um, so with that being said, I think we're done with the forest area and ranking that. We're gonna be moving on to I think Blighttown now. And in Blighttown, the big boss there is Quelaag. And Quelaag, it's an interesting fight. The design is really cool. The lore is interesting as well. I think the lore behind Quelaag is when the fire, like she tried to make like the new flame or something, but it was like a false flame, and that's how all the demons spawned and everything. I'm not sure, but she ended up looking like this. Hold on. Where's Quelaag at? She ends up looking like this. You see that sexy woman on a spider? Crazy. Crazy. Um, but if you get to her like semi early game, she's actually probably a pretty tough fight. And she does look really cool. I don't think she's quite S tier, but her move set is good enough to, like it's passable and it's fun. You know, she has like a flaming sword and she like throws up lava. Um she's half human, half spider thing. So she looks pretty cool. You fight her in a spider nest at the bottom of Blighttown covered in a poison swamp. Like you that's crazy. And yeah, I think it's not quite like spectacular. Um there's not it is like an interesting fight in terms of lore, but I could definitely think of better fights than Quelaag right now. So I would probably say Quelaag is an A tier fight. I don't think she's as good as Bell Gargoyles, so I'm ranking her below Bell Gargoyle. But she's definitely a good fight. She's definitely solid. Um, and entertaining. Already we're almost halfway through, and already like look at all of these like S and A tier bosses and B tier. Like, bro, there's so many good bosses in this game, and it's we're already doing better than Demon Souls already. Um, so who would be next? Um, oh, I guess you go down into hell after or hell like into the volcano or whatever after Quelaag, and I guess you fight Ceaseless Discharge. This is probably F tier as well, but not that he's like hard or annoying or artificially difficult. He's just so forgettable, and the way you beat him is you walk into the arena, or like the game baits you by like, oh look, there's an item over here, and then the fucking boss ambushes you. All you have to do is leave, and then he dies. Like what? What? And then if you want to actually fight him straight up, the fight is he does an attack, he leaves his arm on the cliff for a little because he's a big ass boss. He leaves his arm on the cliff for a little while, you attack his arm, and then you just do that over and over again until he dies. Like, and it's like he doesn't even look cool. Hold on, ceaseless discharge. Like, does he even look cool? Oh, actually he does. That's actually pretty cool. But like, dude, you don't even get to see like half of his body. You kind of just see like these sort of like whatever the fucks, and then he attacks you with this arm. You don't even really get to see his face. I guess this is his face. I don't know. Like you don't even get to see most of his design because he's so big and you're fighting him on a cliff. Like this dude. This is where you fight him. Crazy. And all you have to do to defeat him is leave. Like you have a big ass enemy like this, and you're really just saying like, oh yeah, the way you defeat him is just by walking out of the arena. Like what? What? This is another F tier fight. But I will say it's not nearly as annoying as the Capra Demon. Um, and it's a little less annoying than the Moonlight Butterfly, so he's probably the best in F tier, I would say. There's just nothing memorable about that guy. There's like nothing interesting about him. He's just such a nothing boss. It's like weird. And it's like it's the first boss you fight when you're in that like lava red area, so it's like super intense. So it's like, damn, I wonder what the first boss fight is gonna be. And then it's like this big dude just shows up. He starts fucking slamming the cliff, but all you have to do to defeat him is leave the arena and he just randomly dies. Like, what? What? That's F tier. That's F tier. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's F tier. So next would be so after that you probably find out that oh the light of Gwyn is preventing you from moving on further or whatever the fuck. So then you turn back and you go down another route. So then I would say the next boss would be probably Pinwheel because the catacombs um although I would say you're not, I mean, I made this mistake, but you're not supposed to go down into the catacombs before fighting um, Gwyn, because you need the. It's like once you go down into the catacombs, it's super hard to turn back and get your way out of it, you know. But um, I want to try to like do all of the bosses before the second half of the game. A good way to mark the second half of the game is post Anor Londo. So after you defeat um, Ornstein and Smo, and I think Gwendolyn is his or her name. So after you defeat those two bosses in Anor Londo, then you've officially moved on to the second half of the game. So that's how I want to like visualize it. I want to do all the bosses in the first half and then move on to the second half, which we're almost done with the first half. Pinwheel. Pinwheel is another one of those cases where it's similar to Ceaseless Discharge, which is it's just such a nothing boss. It's so forgettable. But I will say, Pinwheel definitely has more going for him than Ceaseless Discharge. I would say Pinwheel looks cooler. He has a cooler boss arena, and he has a lot more potential than Ceaseless Discharge. It's just that the thing is, when you find Pinwheel, you're fighting him in the catacombs, and you find him and he has like no health. He's super weak to every type of damage, and you defeat him in like 3 seconds. So you don't even get to see his moveset. But he's one of those types of bosses that like clones themselves as like they fight you, and you have to guess like which clone the real one is. And he has like cool magic attacks. But it's just that if he had more health and maybe a bit of a bigger arena so he could be more mobile in, if he was more mobile as well, then he could have actually been a pretty good boss. But I don't know. It just felt like he was just like a wet rag of a boss. Like he just kind of slaps you with a napkin, and that's like what he does, and then you just fucking punch him in the face. So I think he's better than Ceaseless Discharge. So I'm gonna put Pinwheel in D tier. He has potential, and I do like his design and his arena. You fight him in like a big coffin, which is pretty fucking cool. It's just that he's just so underwhelming. And at the point of the game where you find him in, you're already pretty strong. You probably have a pretty good weapon that's upgraded. You're finding him like later in the game in a hard area. Like the catacombs are is not an easy area to traverse. So when you find him, you've probably already upgraded a bunch, and you've just dealt with all those fucking skeletons, and now you're fighting this guy. So you fucking treat him like how you're treating everyone else, and then you just fucking mop the floor with him. So. So it's like, eh, he's just kind of forgettable. But he has potential. He could have been better. So I'm putting him in D tier. Next, I would say, is the Iron Golem fight. Right? Yeah. I think next would be the Iron Golem fight because once you ring both of the bells in Blighttown after you fight Quelaag, and then in the church after you fight the Bell Gargoyles, once you ring both of those bells, then the Sen's Fortress opens up, and then you get to the top of Sen's Fortress and you fight the Iron Golem. Iron Golem, he does look cool, but honestly, he's kind of just like a wannabe Tower Knight. You know what I'm saying? It's a big dude, big suit of armor fighting you, and his move set it's just kind of basic, especially if you're a melee character. Like I was saying this when I was doing the Demon Souls tier list, with these bigger enemies, um a lot of the time the fight just boils down to what are his one or two attacks that he does when you're right next to his leg, because that's where you're gonna be if you're a melee character, which I mean most people are gonna have some sort of melee option that's gonna be decent, you know? So you're fighting this guy next to his ankle, just picking at his ankle. So like what two moves do I have to worry about in this sort of range? And that's what the fight just boils down to. Um I will say he is like pretty unique. He has like a wind slash move, which is pretty cool. He has a grab move where he just throws you off the arena, which is sick. Um, and yeah, like I said, the or I didn't say this, but the arena is like a square with two bridges on each side, so it's like interesting to fight him on that. But he just doesn't really have enough going for him, and he just isn't super unique, especially compared to these other bosses like Quelaag or Gaping Dragon that look 10 times cooler than him and have more of an interesting fight with, more than two moves. So, but like I was saying, he does have cool moves, but you're never in that range to for him to be able to pull off those moves, like the wind slash attack. You know what I'm saying? If you're fighting him with magic and you're at range, it could be a cooler fight, but you know, 99% of the time, you're probably gonna be in close range with him. So, especially with that small arena. I'd probably give him probably the top of C tier I think he's still a decent boss. He's definitely better than the other two demons that are just gimmick fights. Um, but he's not Gaping Dragon level in terms of like entertainment, visual coolness, arena, you know, atmosphere. But once you kill the Iron Golem, then you move on to the big castle area, Anor Londo, and it's these golden rays of light on this beautiful marble and granite castle area, all of these like cool architectures, and you get to traverse it. And the first people you would probably fight is Ornstein and Smo. So Ornstein and Smo, we all know it's S tier. We all know Ornstein and Smo is S tier. This is arguably the best duo fight From Software has ever made. The dynamics between Ornstein and Smo are perfect. Are perfect. You have this big hulking guy that's super slow but hits like a fucking truck, and then you have this more mobile guy that hits you with a bunch of ranged attacks, and he like charges at you with a spear. So he's a lot faster. So you're probably gonna be paying more attention to the faster guy that can get to you, but then little do you know, oh shit, a fucking hammer's above my head, and then you get crushed. So it's like the perfection of multi-management. And the way that these two guys play off of each other is just beautiful. And then when you kill the other one, when you kill one of them, there's a cool cutscene that plays, and that's unique to both of them. So if you kill Ornstein first, Smo smashes him with his hammer and gains his electric charge. And then if you kill Smo first, then Ornstein like stands next to his body and then absorbs him and becomes more powerful as well. It's so fucking cool. And like they're the last guardians of this like beautiful sort of like sunlit castle area, and you're defeating them. It's just perfection. It's just perfection. Esther. Esther. Enough said. Enough said. S2. So then, after you fight Ornstein and Smo, you move up, and then you find this beautiful, beautiful lady, which unfortunately is an illusion. You have to kill her. Kill her. You throw something at her or attack her, and then you find out that she's an illusion, and then the sun that was lighting the whole castle area is an illusion as well, and now everything is silent. It's like midnight, the moon is out, and you walk outside and no one's there anymore. And it's like the atmosphere completely shifts. And then you discover that it's Dark Sun Gwendolyn that was portraying this illusion for you. You know what I'm saying? In terms of lore, apparently this guy, Gwendolyn, is so powerful. Like his illusion magic is so powerful that he was able to give the illusion of the sun to just to light up the castle area. Let alone like the what's her name? Guinevere. Like he made the illusion of Guinevere. Um it's crazy. Like it's crazy in terms of lore how powerful this guy was. But when it comes to his actual fight, it does not match the lore one bit. This guy is a fucking wet towel for a boss fight. Ornstein and Smo are overrated as a boss fight. What? You've never even fought them. What are you talking about? You said you couldn't even get past the Bell Gargoyles. Like, what do you mean they're overrated? What are you talking about? Anyway, this guy, what his actual fight is so fucking annoying. His actual fight is all he does is, it's like this long ass hallway, which is another illusion as well. He creates an illusion of an infinite hallway that he just keeps running away from you in. His whole gimmick is that he casts some spells. He has like two or three different spells he casts, and then he just teleports away further down the hallway and casts more spells. It's like super annoying, especially as a melee character to fight this guy. And it's like all you have to do is just dodge his projectiles, keep moving at him, attack him a couple times, and then keep dodging his projectiles. He's like the armored spider in Demon Souls, where you're constantly running back to him, and he keeps like pushing you away or like moving further back. It's just a constant like chase, and that's not a fun boss fight. That doesn't fit the aesthetic of a boss fight. A boss shouldn't run from you. A boss shouldn't run from you. Or a boss shouldn't like force you to run to it. It's a fucking boss. You know what I'm saying? Like fight. Come on. Fight. I will say though, the lore behind him is super fucking cool. You know, it just sucks that it doesn't match the fight, which kind of takes away from the lore as well. It's like, really? Like this fucking idiot that just kept running away from me was the most powerful thing on this fucking planet, really? Um, but nah, his lore is cool. And his arena is pretty cool too. Like the infinite hallway idea, I think is pretty sick. I just think they could have utilized it better. Um, I don't think he's as bad as like Capra Demon or like Moonlight Butterfly or Ceaseless, because these are like Moonlight Butterfly and Ceaseless Discharge are like super forgettable boss fights. And then Capra Demon is like genuinely an annoying fight. This guy's not super annoying. He's pretty easy still. He's just kind of like that Pinwheel status, you know? Where he's just like, just kind of, he has potential, you know? And his lore is super cool too. It's just that that potential goes unrealized, you know? So I'd probably give him a D tier. I don't think he's completely F tier. All right. So now, there's like a little, before moving on to the second half of the game, there's like a little secret area where if you like talk to the crow, and he'll bring you back to the starting tutorial area, and you get to fight another Asylum Demon, or the Stray Demon. And I'll be honest, he's a complete copy of the Asylum Demon. He just has a different name and another health bar. That's all. That's literally all. So, Stray Demon, I mean, I would put him in the same tier as Asylum Demon, but you have to think about it. They copy and pasted Asylum Demon and didn't make a single change to him, but just put him later in the game for you to fight. How is that good? That's just lazy. That's literally lazy. And you're super powerful too at this point, and you fight him and he's not a challenge at all. It's not like an interesting, unique fight like Asylum Demon was when you first saw him. He's the exact same thing. So I don't think I can justify putting him in the same tier as Asylum Demon, because at least the first time you fight Asylum Demon, he has like some uniqueness to him, you know? I might have to put Stray Demon in D tier. He's probably the best in D tier because, like I said, he's still the exact same fight as Asylum Demon, like in terms of mechanics and everything. So at least that it's like a straightforward fight. But the fact that it's copy and paste is just so lazy. It's so lazy. But you do need to come to back to the tutorial area if you want to move to like the secret painted world. You need to get like an item from here. So after you kill Stray Demon, you get the item, and then you come back to Anor Londo. You look at this beautiful painting, and then suddenly you fall into it, and then you fall into the painted world of Ariamis, I think it's called. Yes, the painted world of Ariamis. And then it's just like this little mini side world that's actually pretty cool. I think it looks really pretty and has like a good level design to it as well. And you fight this crossbreed Priscilla. Apparently she's like a dragon woman or something. I'm not sure. Crossbreed implying that she's a mix between animal and human. And she does. She has a tail. And she can turn invisible. And she has a cool ass scythe. So I'm not sure what her lore is, but in terms of her surroundings and her arena, it's pretty nice, you know? Really atmospheric, and you can actually talk to her before you fight her. She doesn't want to fight you at first, but the moment you attack her, that's when, yeah, okay, shit gets real. Then she starts attacking you. And her fight is actually really interesting. So you fight her in the painted world of Ariamis, which is like this snowy area. So snow is falling down and the ground is covered in snow. So in her arena, she's able to turn invisible and you have to pay attention to the footsteps in the snow to see where she is. And this is a really cool concept. This does have a lot of potential. But the thing is, she has like two moves. She sneaks up on you, and if she does get the drop on you, she does like a swipe, and it's like, oh shit, she hit me. Okay, I'll just heal real quick, and then we'll do it over again. I'll pay more attention this time. You know? I don't know if it was like um I don't know, maybe if it was faster paced, like not the sneaking around part, but then when she appears and attacks you, like maybe she just keeps attacking you. You know what I'm saying? And then when she notices that maybe she's in trouble or like you know you have her movements down, then she goes back invisible. I don't know. It has more potential than what is happening, but she's not a bad fight. I think she's probably around. I think she's probably better than the demons, but not better than the golem. I would say crossbreed Priscilla is C tier, right in the middle here. Bang. She's good. She's good, and I do like her design and the fact that you can talk to her and she's like non-threatening is pretty cool. You know, you can go to the painted world and not have to fight her. You could just move on. Um, but of course I fought her because you know. We're moving through this one faster than Demon Souls. I think I had more to say about Demon Souls. I think I was more pissed about Demon Souls and its boss fights than I was about uh the tier list or the Dark Souls 1 bosses. Ornstein and Smo are iconic but overrated. The fight's difficulty comes from camera and RNG more than pure skill. What sort of forum or article are you getting this from? This isn't your opinion. I could just tell this is like AI generated or something. Like this is not your opinion. And this is not how you would normally speak. You used a fucking hyphen in Twitch chat. This is AI generated. This is not you. Anyway, so now we can officially move on to the second half of the game. And this is definitely where the overall quality of Dark Souls 1 takes a dip, a significant dip. At least in the base game. In the base game of Dark Souls 1, once you get to the second half, you know, after Ornstein and Smo, after, you know, putting out the lights and everything becomes dark and shit, all including the bosses, all of the level design, all of the bosses, a lot of the enemies, it takes a huge dip in quality. So the first place I think you would naturally go um in uh the fucking game after you move on, I think probably it would probably be Four Kings. Honestly, let's do it like this. Boom, 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 oop, boom. Okay, so so we so I would say the first boss you would naturally fight is either the Four Kings or honestly you could fight any of these bosses first, but I'm gonna go with the Four Kings first after you fight or after you go into the second half of the game. So Four Kings. So the think about this, the setup to the fight. Um, you have this like lost city of Londo or something. You have this area of the map and it's filled with ghosts. It's covered in water, but then you like pull this lever and it drains all of the water, and then you're able to traverse the ground, right? And you have these new types of enemies. They're like skeletons with swords, but they're like armored skeletons and they look cool and they're tough, and you fight them. And it's really interesting. The way they're setting it up, it's like this weird, mysterious, ancient town that has some sort of secret. And then you find this stairwell, right? You find this stairwell, you slowly go down it, and then you realize the stairs suddenly stop. And you look down, and it's just black. It's just darkness. But you decide to take a leap, and then you end up not dying. You end up in the abyss. And it's like, oh my god, I've been hearing about this abyss throughout the entire game. You know, it's some sort of like evil, like thing that's taken over like the underworld, and it's corrupting the good and the nature and everything. People have become corrupted with from the abyss. And then you walk around a little bit, and then suddenly a health bar appears. The four kings start to attack you, and it's like, holy shit. But then it immediately flops, and then the fucking boss fight is shit. Like, they were setting it up so well. They were setting up the atmosphere, the whole falling into the pit of darkness, and then still being alive somehow. And then the title appears, The Abyss. Like, it's so sick. Like, holy shit, where am I? And then it's just the four kings. Like, hold on. Do they even look cool? Like, they just look like a bunch of, like, textures. Is that a woman? Oh. Oh, so it does have a face. Okay. Yeah, this is what it looks like when you fight it. It looks super weird, and the depth of field, because it's just black in the background. There's no like background to give you some like distance management. It's just like it's super weird to look at, and they're just like floating, and they have this. They just look weird, and I don't know. It's honestly like the setup to the fight and the lore behind the abyss is super cool and everything, but dude, it's like, what the fuck is the Four Kings? And you kill one of them and then another one spawns. And then fun fact, if you're powerful enough, you don't even have to fight all four of them. You can kill them in 3 because they all share one health bar. So if you do enough damage to um like the first few, then you don't have to fight the fourth one. You could probably do enough damage to the first one to not have to fight any of the other ones. You know what I'm saying? But I've also learned that if you're too weak, then you have to fight a fifth one. But I mean that's stupid. It's called the Four Kings. It should always be 4. But whatever. Um It's not an F tier fight because it's not like really bad. It's just kind of forgettable and underwhelming. Like they were hyping it up and then it's just a shitty fight. And it's like at the point in the game where okay, you've gotten through probably all of these bosses now. You know what I'm saying? You've probably gotten through all of these bosses. Ornstein and Smo you just killed, and you're probably super upgraded. You probably have a max level weapon. So by the time you fight the Four Kings, they're actually pretty weak. You know? Or maybe that was just my experience, because I don't know. I'm probably gonna give these guys a D tier. Probably right here. Probably right here. Because they still have a lot of cool lore and cool atmosphere. And the Abyss is such a cool idea, but the boss fight just falls flat. It's just, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know their moveset. I don't even know their moveset. They probably have like a couple of swiping moves. Like, I don't even know their moveset. That's how forgettable they are. Like, I don't even remember the fighting mechanics. It's crazy. Anyway, um, after that, I would probably move back into Hell, where all of the um demons were, the Capra demon and the Taurus demons, and you fight Ceaseless Discharge. All of these red bosses, basically. That's where you find them all. They all look the same, honestly. Now that I'm looking at all these images, they kind of all look the same. They're kind of all just like drenched in lava, and they all kind of just have this brown base color, this brown and gray base color. They don't really have a creative design, I'll be honest. But yeah, you move back into Hell. This sort of like veil that was there before, that was being kept up by Gwyn, is now gone because he's dead, and the illusions are all gone and everything. So, um, now you walk in and you fight Demon Fire Sage, and I'll be honest, this is another copy and paste of the Asylum Demon. But I will say they do make him look different. They do give him a few more moves, and his arena is probably cooler, I would say. And they do like some sort of like add-on to the plunging attack that you originally did to the Asylum Demon, and they put like this huge tunnel over the head of him. If you want to, um, you can plunge down onto his head and attack him that way. It's next to Quilag's sister's place. You can like unlock it, and then you could plunge down into it and attack him on his head. Super cool. So, and I think he is a better version of Asylum Demon, and he's not a complete lazy copy and paste like the Stray Demon was. So I think I'm gonna put Fire Sage Demon probably in B tier, and he's probably a more entertaining fight than Gaping Dragon, but that's honestly up for debate. Gaping Dragon does look way cooler. But in terms of fighting mechanics, I think Demon Fire Sage is probably better. Probably more entertaining fight overall. So, I mean, I don't really have much else to say. He's pretty good, but he's not as good as these upper guys. All right. So, moving on to Centipede Demon. Um, I don't know because you know what? Fun fact: he is in Night Rain, Elden Ring Night Rain, and I really want it. I think I'm gonna get it for Christmas. Hopefully, please Miyazaki, I want Night Rain to go on sale, especially because it just dropped a DLC. I don't think the DLC is gonna go on sale. That's whatever. I just want the base game. All right, I want the base game, and I'm gonna get all my friends the base game for Christmas. So I'm praying Miyazaki, please just let it go on sale on Steam. It could be like a 20% sale. Just have something, you know? I want to play Elden Ring Night Rain. Anyway, but yeah, Centipede Demon appears in Elden Ring Night Rain. A bunch of cool OG bosses appear in Elden Ring Night Rain. It's just really fun. But Centipede Demon in Dark Souls 1 is annoying as fuck. What does he even look like? I know he has actually a pretty cool design, but he's just covered in lava. Centipede Demon. No! Yeah. He actually does look pretty cool. It's just that his arena is fucking covered in this lava and it's super bright and like doesn't he look a lot cooler? Obviously the graphics are better, but without the fucking bright ass colors, uh and like his skin is so similar to like the ground and shit around him, it's hard to differentiate where his um boss hitbox starts and where the just environment is, you know? Um, but like I said, 90% of the arena is covered in lava, so you can't step in it. What you have to do is if you want to fight him properly, you have to cut off his like centipede. I think you have to cut off the centipede that's attached to him. And then he gives you like the orange ring or whatever it's called. And you wear this orange ring and then you gain a ton of resistance to lava. So then you put it on, now you're able to walk in lava, but you still take damage to it, but whatever. Um, Now you're able to walk in lava and you defeat him, right? But honestly, the little land that the boss arena does give you, that's probably enough to fight this guy anyway. He just has weird hitboxes. It's hard to see exactly what he's doing because, you know, you have such little fucking area to work with. You're always in his fucking face and the camera doesn't help. It's hard to see what exactly he's doing. It's just a weird, unorganized, messy fight. He does look cool, but the arena and environment does not complement, his color palette at all. He just blends in with the environment, and it just doesn't look good. Um, but he he does look cool. He does look cool. I know he does. All right. I mean, like, look at him. Look at him in Elden Ring Night Rain. Doesn't that look fucking cool? All the centipede teeths, tooths sticking out of him. And like, yeah, he's like on the wall at the start of the boss fight, like the cutscene. Like he does look cool. It's just that the color palette it's just a poor color palette choice because he just blends in with the background, honestly. It's annoying. I don't think he's F tier, but he is definitely not anything above C tier. But I don't even think he's C tier. Like I think Asylum Demon's a better fight. I'd probably put him. I think he's probably Because at least you could see the four kings. I'd say he's probably in the middle of the pack in D tier. Not a very good fight, honestly. Oh boy, but here we go. Here we go. Possibly the worst fight in all of Dark Souls 1, and arguably the worst boss fight in From Software history, the Bed of Chaos. The Bed of Chaos goes F tier. Do I even need to say any more? Like, what could I say that hasn't already been said about the Bed of Chaos? Such a shitty fight. Shitty fight. The whole concept is ass, too. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. There's so many criticisms I have for this boss fight. First of all, the boss run back is annoying because you spawn at the Centipede Demon Arena, so you have to run all the way through like the last half of the level just to get back to him. I know there's like a little hidden bonfire, but that barely helps. And you're running through lava as well, so you're constantly taking damage just to get to this fucking bed of chaos, running past all these ads and everything. And then you start the fight, and you slide down this cool little slide, and there's a bunch of branches. It's pretty cool. But then you land in the arena, and it's just a big ass like tree root. That's all it is. It's a flaming tree root. Bed of chaos. Bro. Jesus Christ, I can't fucking spell! Oh my god. Dude, like, look at this guy. He doesn't look cool at all. Like, it looks like just a bunch of tree roots covered in flames. And he's a complete gimmick fight with the worst gimmick ever. You have to go to one side of him and like destroy some tree branches and like hit this orb that does a bunch of damage, and then you have to run all the way to the other side of him, do the same thing, and then you have to run back to the center and then kill this fucking bug that has 1 HP the entire time. Like, what? Like, you're telling me this is like some sort of god? It's just a little bug? Bro. But that's not even the worst part. You have to do all of that while he's constantly attacking you and breaking the arena around you. I'm talking the floor falls out from below you, and you never know where the floor is going to fall out. Like, it gives you no warning sign. There's no like crackle and then fall. It just fucking falls. And his hitboxes are so stupid. When he attacks, he swipes through the entire arena, and it's like it gives you such a small window of like dodge that you have to perfectly dodge it every time if you don't want to get hit. And even if you perfectly dodge it, he still moves your character physically. So he could push you into a hole that is broken down in the arena. It's like so bullshit every time. And every time you die, you have to run all the way back. It's so fucking annoying. It's so annoying. It's the worst boss concept and execution of all time. Of all time. There's only one boss fight in the rest of From Software history that I can think of that's on the level of shit that the Bed of Chaos is on. Okay? And I'll get to that when I get to it, okay? But for now, we're talking about the Bed of Chaos. It's ass. Arguably the worst boss fight in From Software history. I don't know what I could say. I don't know what I could say. There's not a single redeeming quality about this thing. Not a single redeeming quality about this thing. Not even I don't even know about the lore. That's how I know lore. Usually I know about when a boss is fucking cool. Like I've been talking about the lore of a lot of these guys, but I don't know a single thing about this guy. Like who the fuck knows about the Bed of Chaos? Is the lore cool? I don't know. His fucking boss arena is annoying and actually works against you. The boss runback is ass. His design, his look, he looks like shit. He doesn't look cool. He's a flaming tree. That's not fucking cool. Not even. He's flaming tree roots. Okay. I'm getting really heated talking about the Bed of Chaos. Let's take a chill pill. Whew. Whew. Oh my. Okay. Bat of Chaos, F tier. Let's move on. Let's move on to Seath the Scaleless. And Seath is pretty cool looking, I would say. He's this big white dragon, and he's like covered in crystal. I mean, he kind of looks like he's pregnant with this picture. Like, what's up with this? I don't think he's pregnant though. He's this big white dragon, and the lore about Seath is actually pretty cool. It turns out he worked with Gwyn when he was fighting the dragons, and he was like a traitor to the dragons because um he was like an outcast for the dragons because he was scaleless. I think he was born that way. Because he's scaleless, all the other dragons like made fun of him and he was an outcast. It's like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, if you think about it. Except if Rudolph betrayed the reindeer by going to the fucking hunter's shack and told him where Santa Claus was. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what Seath the Scaleless did to the rest of the dragons. He went to Gwyn and he was like, yo, this is their weakness. You need to wield lightning and you'll win this war against the dragons. So that's what Seath did. He held this fucking grudge against this high school bully, and he basically just got his entire race extinct, almost, because he got made fun of in school. But now he's like super powerful, and um, you fight him. All right, you fight him. But I will say, with his lore being so cool, he is really an underwhelming fight again. He's like Gwyn, with the lore being really cool and interesting, but the actual fight not living up to those standards at all. And his boss run back is so fucking annoying. You have to run across these invisible crystal bridges. You have to guess where your next step is going to be every time. Obviously, you memorize it eventually, but it's fucking weird and annoying. And it's crazy. It's one of the weirdest, worst boss run backs probably in this game. Um, and he's a complete gimmick fight because the point is you spawn into his boss arena, you walk in, and then you have to go around him while he's trying to attack you to like hit this crystal, which apparently is giving him some sort of immunity, which you think he would protect it better if it was keeping his whole immunity and everything. And you hit this crystal, you destroy it, and then you can finally attack him. And the boss fight, when you're actually fighting him, is super awkward. Like like I said, he's a big ass boss. So when you're actually up close to him, he only has like 2 or 3 moves that can hurt you. And you're fighting him and everything, and it's like I don't really know how to explain it. It's just really underwhelming for a boss that looks that cool and has such cool lore. It's just you made him into a gimmick fight, like really? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if you attack him from range using like magic or fire, then it could be a better fight or like lightning or something. Um, yeah, imagine using lightning against Seath. That would be sick. Like he probably has more moves and is more interesting, but as a melee character, you fight him and he kind of just has like 2 or 3 moves, like the swiping moves and the slamming moves. And you attack him, you kill him. Oh, if you chop off his tail, you get the Moonlight Greatsword. Pretty cool. Um, he's cool, cool lore, cool design, but just a disappointing fight. He's probably, I would say he's better than the Four Kings and Centipede Demon, but he's probably like right here, I would say. Because the Stray Demon, in terms of mechanics, at least he does more. The Stray Demon actually moves around, and he has more than two moves, you know? Because he's a copy of Asylum Demon. You know, at least he does more. Next, we have Nito. And I'll be honest, except for the Bed of Chaos, I would say this is probably the worst fight in the second half of the game. He kind of looks cool. I don't even know. Like he's just like I don't even know. Oh, I don't even know what that is. Yeah, he's just a bunch of skeletons. He's like an amalgamation of a bunch of skeletons, and he's like covered in this like abyss robe or whatever. And when you fight him, you just spawn into this like black arena, and he like hits you with like a weird bullshit like pillar of fire move randomly. It's weird. But other than that bullshit move, his fight is pretty straightforward. He spawns a bunch of ads. If you take care of them properly, or if you just run around and train them properly, then they're not tough to deal with. Um, you attack him a few times, he's just a really forgettable and fight. Apparently he's supposed to be super powerful, and that's kind of the theme. Okay, I'll be honest. That's kind of the theme with a lot of the bad bosses in this game. Gwyn, Seath, Nito, all of these bosses are supposed to be, according to lore, super fucking powerful bosses. Oh shit, my fucking bumped my table, now my camera's shaking. According to lore, these guys are supposed to be super fucking powerful. But when you actually fight them in game, it's just like they don't hit as hard as the lore says they do. You know, the game has been hyping these guys up, and then you actually go and fight them, and there's some sort of gimmick fight, or they have like two moves. You know what I'm saying? Or the boss, actual look of the boss is just like, what am I looking at right now? You know what I'm saying? This is another D tier fight. It's not entirely bad, where it's like just super fucking forgettable, and like if they completely removed it from the game, then nothing would change, like with Ceaseless Discharge or Moonlight Butterfly. And it's also not like super annoying like Capra Demon or Bed of Chaos, but it's just so forgettable that it's like such a nothing boss, but the lore is super important. Like it just baffles me every time. I'd probably put this probably below Gwyn, maybe even below. I don't know. Probably here. I don't know if he's worse than Pinwheel. Pinwheel is like the definition of a nothing boss. Um, but after Nito, you do have the option to move on and beat the game. But I want to move on to the DLC, are probably the best part. The best part about Dark Souls 1, honestly, to me, is its DLC. And you could probably say that about every From Software game, to be fair. The best part of their games are their DLCs usually. They never disappoint with a DLC. So it makes sense. So moving on to Dark Souls 1 DLC, the first boss you fight is the Sanctuary Guardian, and spoiler alert, none of these bosses are bad in the DLC. None of them are below C tier. Um, or B tier, honestly. I'm probably gonna give Sanctuary Guardian a B tier. Um, he, the Sanctuary Guardian looks really cool. It's like this chimera boss. It's a lion. It has wings like an angel. It has a scorpion tail and it has goat horns. Like it's super fucking unique and cool looking. And it flies around and shoots lightning at you. It does a bunch of like goat attacks where it's like slamming you. It does like a paw attack. It turns around and poisons you with its scorpion tail. It uses all of its elements to attack you. The only thing I have complaints with is the arena. It's kind of just like a little swampy area. It just doesn't really look cool. And the lore, like there's no real setup to this boss. It's kind of just like a random. It's a sanctuary guardian. It guards the sanctuary that comes after it, right? But there's no real setup to the boss fight. You kind of just get teleported into this random cave and then you walk outside and there he is. You know? Um, there's no real lore behind it, and it's not super like spectacular. It doesn't have a cutscene. Like I said, there's no lore. It's not a super hard fight. um, it's nothing too crazy, I would say. I don't think it's as good of a fight as like Quelaag is, so I'm gonna put him in B tier, but the top of B tier. He's definitely better than the Fire Sage and the Gaping Dragon. Um, cool ass design. It's just nothing too special about him. So I'm putting him in B tier. So the next boss you would fight in this game And in my opinion, finally, the best boss in the game, Artorias the Abyss Walker. This, for me, is going at the top of S tier. Now, I wanna paint a picture for you guys. In Demon Souls, we had these boss fights where 90% of them had some sort of gimmick to them, where you used an item that completely trivialized the fight, or the fight was just navigating the boss arena to get to a certain point and then the boss just dies, you know? Or maybe you have to do this and then the boss becomes really fucking weak. You know, 90% of the bosses were gimmick fights and really easy and honestly forgettable in Demon Souls. But you had these few fights where they were just simple. They were just straight up fights. Flame Lurker, False King Alon. You know, these fights, it was just you and the boss. And you guys fought in this arena, and it was just straight up. And these ended up being the best boss fights in the game. So the From Software team realizes this and they shift more towards a straight up fighting style for their bosses. You know, less gimmicks, fewer gimmicks. Fewer puzzles you have to solve in order to defeat a boss, fewer items that cheese bosses, you know? Um a lot of these fights that you're noticing are straight up fights. You could probably pick like 80% of the fights in Dark Souls 1. They're probably going to be simple straight up fights, you know? The Iron Golem, you know, the Gaping Dragon, Demon Fire Sage. Um, these are all simple, straight up fights. So when you moved on to the DLC, think this: the Dark Souls 1 game was released, and then they started to release the DLC. So this came after the base game. So they released this DLC, and all of a sudden you have this boss that is like 2 times faster than you, has all of these unpredictable moves, and is does crazy damage. At the time when the DLC came out, you would probably think that a ton of the player base was like, holy shit, Artorias is hard as fuck. He's probably the hardest boss. And they were probably right. But obviously, with today's standards in mind, they kept developing this one-on-one type of idea where it's just a straight up fight. They kept developing this idea, and now we have so many iconic, so many amazing bosses. But when you think back, you think Artorias. He's the one that started this trend of just just having this amazing, beautiful one-on-one fight. And it's perfection. It's perfection. Everything from the lore to his look to his moveset, everything about him is just fucking awesome. He's S tier. He's the top of S tier. He's the best fight in Dark Souls 1. Artorias the Abyss Walker. I really have nothing else to say about him other than he's so fucking cool. And his starting cutscene when you walk into his arena and the cutscene plays, and he throws a body at you. It's so sick. It's so sick. Damn. So fucking sick. Anyway, moving on. You defeat Artorias. And oh my god, when he does all those front flips, he does like a double front flip. It's so fucking cool. That's the original Lion's Claw, if you're an Elden Ring fan. But yeah, after you defeat Artorias, you move on, you talk to this giant guy, and you probably explored a certain part of the DLC where there's a dragon just fucking flaming you, and you can't do nothing about it. If you talk to this giant though, he's like, "Oh, you've encountered him. I'll shoot him down for you, and you can do the rest." So this fucking epic giant just picks up a bow he hasn't fucking drawn in centuries. First fucking try, just fucking lines it up and snipes this fucking dragon out of the sky. And then you go down into that valley where he was originally fucking fireballing you, and you go and fight this dragon. This dragon, his name is Black Dragon Kalameet, and he is a good dragon fight. He's probably the original good dragon fight. He's not, I don't think he's quite S tier, but he is super fun. His fire actually looks really cool. It's like a black flame. It looks really unique. You cut his tail off and you get like a really cool greatsword. Um, I actually miss that mechanic. I'll be honest. I miss that mechanic in Dark Souls 1 where you cut an enemy's tail off and you get a unique weapon. Like half of the bosses you can cut their tails off. I think. I think. Um, let's see. Like yeah, Capra Demon, you can cut a part of his body off and get a ring. Seath the Scaleless, you can cut his tail off. Um, I don't know if Taurus Demon has a tail, but Priscilla, you can cut her tail off and get a cool ass dagger. Gaping Dragon, you can cut his tail off. Sanctuary Guardian, you can cut his tail off. Bell Gargoyles, you can cut their tail off, and or cut one of their tail off. The other one isn't there. And then finally, you have Calamite, and you can cut his tail off too. I miss that mechanic. I don't know why they never brought that back, but um, he's the original really good dragon fight. He has all of the simple dragon moves that you'd expect from like a basic dragon in Elden Ring, but it's just really fun seeing, how a dragon fight would look all the way back then. And it's a pretty solid fight, I would say. Honestly, I'm probably gonna put this at the top of A tier. Mm, nah, actually I'm gonna put it in between Quelaag and Bell Gargoyle. I think Bell Gargoyle is probably the best in A tier. I just have a soft spot for Bell Gargoyles. I don't know why. I just think they're so good. But Calamite is definitely a really good dragon boss fight, and definitely better than fucking Dragon God. Okay, that's all I have to say. And then finally, we have the final boss of the Dark Souls 1 DLC. We have Manus, Father of the Abyss. The lore behind this guy is, he's the father of the Abyss. He's the one who's like started this like whole darkness area. Um, he's the also I think the reason for humanity, like the humanities you consume in Dark Souls 1, which is really cool because you traverse this dark area and you see all these like mini humanities floating by you. It's really unique and interesting. But the actual fight, the actual fight itself is great. The actual fight itself is great. The only complaint I have, this is honestly probably a nitpick. It's sort of the same complaint I have with Four Kings. Because you fight him in the Abyss, all of the background is black. All right? It doesn't help at all that Manus is like half of his body is black. Let's see. Like, look at this. Half of his body is black. And when he attacks you, it's like super hard to see his attacks because his body blends in with the background. So it's kind of hard to see his attacks. But I will say his attacks are sick. I mean, look at this guy, dude. His design is so fucking cool. And you find out that he's the thing that grabs you and drags you into the DLC with this arm of his. This thing right here. It's the same thing that grabs you out of that portal and drags you into the DLC. Look at this axe. It looks so fucking cool. Like he looks cool, his lore is cool. His arena's it kind of works against him, but it's honestly fine because it's a great boss fight. And his actual attack combos are so sick. This is arguably harder than Manus is arguably harder than Artorias because Manus has some crazy fast moves as well. He has a like 5 or 6 hit combo that if he hits you with one of his attacks, you're getting comboed into the rest of the attacks. Like he'll hit you with it and then he'll send you flying in the air over and over again and then he'll slam you in the ground. It's crazy. Um it's just a really fun fight and it's super difficult and I honestly love it. I have no complaints other than that small complaint with like the background and his like they could have switched up the color palette for him a little more, I think. But he looks great. This is another S tier fight. He's probably here. He's better than Sin, but Ornstein Mo is definitely better than him. Okay. Finally, we move on to the final boss of Dark Souls 1, Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. And I will say, especially coming from Demon Souls, with the final boss of Demon Souls being False King Alon, or technically, I guess, True King Alon, but really, the final actual fight of Demon Souls, it's False King Alon. Coming from that fight, that being your final boss in Demon Souls, that's a great fight. And then moving on to Gwyn, it's a little bit of a change that I think is for the worse. Um, Gwyn, first of all, he's an NPC boss fight. He does have a couple unique moves that make him different from like your average NPC fight, but a lot of his moves, his movement, the way he rolls around and everything, it's an NPC. He moves like a player. And it's just like NPC boss fights have never been the best in the From Software series. They've either been easily exploitable or just completely forgettable. And Gwyn is no exception. He's super easily exploitable with the parry mechanic. Like a lot of his moves are super easy to parry, and you could just spam parry and probably beat him first try. But other than that, like I do want to mention his lore. His lore is so fucking cool. I mean, you could see in the picture right here, he's wielding lightning. He used that exact same lightning to defeat the dragons with the information from Seath the Scaleless, Seath helped him out. He defeated the dragons, and he started this new age of fire, and he kindled the first flame. And you fight him in the kiln. The final area of the game is called the Kiln of the First Flame. So you're going to where this whole world began, to where this whole world started, and you go and fight the originator of the flame. And when you walk in there, it's like you've been hearing about Gwyn through lore and through NPCs, and like the game has been hyping him up. And you walk into the fight, and then you hear this piano playing. You don't hear some sort of big orchestra or chorus, "Ah," you know what I'm saying? You don't hear something like that. You hear a simple piano solo piano, and it's a somber piano. It's like, what are these like sad keys I'm hearing? And you walk in, and it's this arena. It's covered in ash. It's just this guy that looks just like you. He's a human, and he walks towards you. He knows what time it is. There's no words. You walk in, and you see right next to him is just this small bonfire, this little fire. This is what he's been protecting this entire time. And it's just this little fire that has kept the world going. It used to be a bigger fire. It used to probably be a raging flame because everywhere around it is covered in ash, but now it's just this tiny little fire that he's just trying to protect. And it's a sad thing because you look around you, and throughout the game, you've been encountering like the undead, all of these demons. Like, this world is dying. And Gwyn, clearly, he just wanted to protect what he had originally thought started this beautiful world. But really, it's this thing that started all of the agony. And he's just trying to protect what was his. And you walk in, and this piano is playing. Like, the setup to the fight is perfect, honestly. It's just the actual fight itself. It doesn't. If it was harder, it would be better. I think if it was, I don't know, if it was more than an NPC fight, like if it was a humanoid fight where like maybe it's not quite an NPC that moves like a player, but it's like a bigger human, like imagine Godfrey from Elden Ring. That's not an NPC, but he's a human. He's a humanoid figure, and he has a completely different moveset. Like if it was something like that, I think that could have had a lot of potential. But honestly think the only thing holding it back is the fact that it's an NPC fight, and it's just really fighting him is really underwhelming. But the whole lore, the whole aesthetic of the fight, the soundtrack is iconic. Like you can't give this fight anything below C tier. I don't think, because then you're doing the soundtrack injustice. It's beautiful, it's iconic, and I listen to it. I just listen to it casually because it's such a beautiful piano. I think probably I'm gonna put Gwyn probably in C tier. I think he's the top in C tier. He's definitely better than Iron Golem. Um, but I don't think he deserves anything above C tier. And that is it. That is the Dark Souls 1 boss tier list. Let me know what you guys think. Um, what did I get right? What did I get wrong? You know, what are your opinions on certain bosses? Like, how do y'all feel about the Beta Chaos? How do y'all feel about Artorias? How do y'all feel about Gwyn? You know what I'm saying? Let me know how y'all feel. I think I killed it. And even though there's a lot of mid and forgettable boss fights, there is definitely way more good and memorable boss fights and like simply revolutionary boss fights in this game than there was in Demon Souls. That's pretty safe to say. I mean, what my tier list for Demon Souls didn't even have anything in the A tier. It just jumped straight to S, and there was only like 3 bosses in S tier. So this game definitely has a lot more better bosses than Demon Souls. But I think that's gonna be all for my stream tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know how y'all feel about my list. Um, and I'll be active. I'll be in the comments replying and shit. So I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you for watching me and supporting me. Um, yeah, man. Thank you.